Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Thursday, September 4th, 2025. And a little bit chilly this morning. I haven't got Nia with me. It's about just after 7 a.m. I've got to get on the road today. And it's only about 3 degrees. So on these type of mornings, it gives me that little bit of a look of, you're on your own today, Dad. He's tucked up warm in his bed, so I'm not going to force him out. I think he did think about it. He sort of looked at me, he turned, he raised his head, he got up, looked around and went, yeah, you know what, see you later. So here I am, which is not a bad thing. I can probably do it a little bit quicker because, as I said, I've got to get on the road and get some stuff done today. So anyway, let's go on this day. September 4th, as I said, 1988. Mexico's Gilberto Roman defeated Japan's Kiyoshi Hatanaka on points in Japan for the world super flyweight title. In 2004, I used to love watching this guy fight. Jorge Arce defended the light flyweight title by defeating Filipino Juanito Rubilar. That was in Mexico. 2004, American Corey Spinks defeated Mexico's Miguel Angel Gonzalez on points in Las Vegas for the world welterweight title. And in 2010, Mexico's Omar Nino defended the light flyweight title by defeating Panama's Ronald Barrera by knockout in the 6th round in Mexico. So that's what's happened on this day in boxing history. All right, a little bit of news yesterday. Well, not really news, it's more, can we call it scuttlebutt? Is that the word? I don't even know what scuttlebutt means, but I've heard it mentioned a few times in these sort of situations. But I saw there was a newspaper article written by Brendan Bradford. I've never met Brendan, but he does some pretty good work. He mentioned that, well, probably just reiterating what's probably been said for the last few months, is that the Nikita Tszyu Michael Zerafa fight could be happening. I think the story was more about that Brock Jarvis could throw a spanner in the works, because if he wins on September the 18th, which is what, 14 days away, 2 weeks away, that he could be the one that fights Nikita Tszyu instead of Michael Zerafa. So I think what the story was more about was to keep the fires burning as far as the interest goes, keep the stories coming about the possible matchups, and obviously to keep Nikita's name out there as well as Michael Zerafa too. So it just seems like it's a follow-up article, just another rehash of a lot of articles that have been written, a lot of interviews, all that sort of stuff. But what the article's more, as I said, about was, could Brock Jarvis upset the apple cart and take Michael Zerafa's spot in the, well, muted November or December fight against Nikita Tszyu. The interesting thing to me was, I skim over a lot of that stuff now, because I reckon a lot of it's just feeding shit to the fans out there to keep people interested and keep those guys' names in the news and to keep stoking the fires for the fight, all that sort of stuff. I get it, I know the way it works. But what got me is that Michael Zerafa said that he'd signed the contract to fight Nikita Tszyu, and it was now up to Nikita Tszyu to sign his half of the contract and let's get it on, which seems fair enough. It's like, oh shit, okay, here we go. Are we on here? Is this going to be it? And then George Rose does an interview and says no contracts have been offered or signed to Michael Zerafa. So what is it? Do these two entities talk? Are they on the same page? Do they maybe not have a phone call before being interviewed to say, now, well, I'm going to say this, now you need to say that. All right, we need to keep this going. We need Michael, you need to say this to help us out, and we'll say this to help you out, or vice versa. But all they've done is made each other look pretty silly. How could they be so far off the mark that Michael Zerafa says he signed the contract, and No Limit say they haven't even sent him the contracts, let alone had him sign it, or let alone Nikita sign it? So how can two separate parties be so out of whack? And who's telling the truth? I'm not calling Michael a liar by any means, but I'm just not sure why George Rose would lie about not signing the contracts. I mean, once the contracts are signed, they're signed and job's done. There's no sort of getting out of it. But to say they haven't even been sent yet signed, yeah, I don't know. Just guys, if you're going to do these interviews going forward, at least make sure you're on the same page, can you? Because it doesn't look good when reporters interview you and you're giving contrasting stories. So for me personally, I would rather Nikita fight Brock Jarvis, if I'm being honest, because yes, the Michael Zerafa fight is the bigger fight. I think most of Australia would rather see the Nikita and Zerafa fight. That's an obvious one. But the reason I say he should fight Brock Jarvis instead is that there's still plenty of time for the Michael Zerafa fight for Nikita. So I think at this stage of his career, Brock Jarvis makes a hell of a lot more sense for Nikita as far as his development goes. It'll still be a massive fight. Well, I won't say massive, but a very, very big fight. All the fights for the Zoos are always big, of course, but I think the Brock Jarvis fight would gain a lot of interest. I think the fans would be engaged. I think regardless of where both boys are in their respective careers, I think that it's a really good development fight for both. Nikita, I think fighting Brock would be a different type of fighter that he's fought. A youngish, really willing guy who's going to come at him and wants to really take him on. And probably it's just a step, I think, above the likes of the Mazzudias and Brewbakers and all those types of guys. Definitely a step up above Ismaili. So I think that's good for Nikita. And for Brock Jarvis, well, he's got to roll the dice, doesn't he? I think this is his last big fight that he would ever have. I don't think he's anywhere near world level. I think that's been shown. But Nikita Tszyu is a fight I think he thinks he could win. So, and even if he doesn't, big stage, a lot of attention, obviously a really good payday out of it, and would be a ripper fight. So that's why I think it would be the fight for both, especially for Nikita as far as his development goes. Lots of, I suppose, opinions of whether he's actually ready for Michael Zerafa. I wouldn't be too stressed if he did fight Michael. I think he could and would win that fight. I know that probably goes against the grain a little bit. I think he would beat Michael, but does he really need to take that risk? But Michael is dangerous. Michael is still a dangerous guy. He's obviously world ranked in, 2 organisations? Or number 6 with one of them, I think number 11 with the other one, or something like that anyway. The guy can fight. I think I've had my say. I don't think it's at the top level, but regardless, Michael's still a very, very good fighter. So I just think it doesn't make sense for Nikita to take him on now after 11 fights when he could have another fight against Brock, and then maybe even a couple after that against maybe some more credentialed, world-rated opponents. That's what I think anyway. But doesn't stop the reporters from continuing to roll out these stories of what ifs. They seem to be the master of it. They've always done it with Tim. They love rolling the stories out for Tim, and it works. It works. So we'll see what will happen with that. All right, what else is going on in the world of boxing at the moment? I did see, was there something about, Justice Huni, that's right. There was an article about, an interview with Eddie Hearn in regards to Justice Huni, and he said that he'll be back in November. And it seems to be he's forgotten just a little bit, Justice Huni. He hasn't really been mentioned in any of the big fights sort of being mooted around. But I think he opened a lot of eyes in his fight with Fabio Wardley. So, Eddie Hearn really excited, and of course Mick Francis really excited about getting him back in November. No opponent sort of been mentioned at the moment. But it looks like if it's going to be November, you would think it might even be the Riyadh season show on November 22nd. So I think Turki Al Sheikh really likes Justice Huni. So looks like he'll be back around that time. So good news for Justice. He's going to do some damage at heavyweight, I think. I think he's really going to be a good fighter. I think he showed that against Wardley. And geez, with a bit of luck, what could it be? Justice Huni fighting Joseph Parker at the end of the year. Is that October 25th, I think it is. Could have been Justice Huni fighting Joseph Parker on October 25 in Ireland. It would have been fantastic. But that big right hand from Fabio Wardley put an end to that, didn't it? But look, at 26 or something like that, still plenty of time for Justice, and he's going to do some real damage in that division going forward, without doubt. All right, the Alexander Usyk title situation with the heavyweight belt. It looks like all belts will be frozen until 2026. So obviously he's been successful with his reporting back to, I think the WBO was probably the main one, reporting back to those sanctioning bodies about his standing at the moment with his injury. And it looks like he's in the clear, and all belts will be on hold until next year. So, which just causes a little bit of confusion, what do you want to call it, pandemonium almost in the heavyweight division. Everyone sort of scampering for the prime spots and fighting. Well, maybe that's what they might have to do, is actually fight each other for a change, but not just all sit around waiting for Usyk to call. But I'm not sure what this does to the heavyweight division. Might be good timing though when you think about it. Joseph Parker and Wardley on October 25th. So maybe the winner of that is the guy that gets Usyk, maybe mid next year. So I don't think he's in any hurry to fight again soon. He's had hundreds of amateur fights. He's only had the sort of 20 odd fights in the heavyweights, but he's experienced enough where he doesn't have to fight every few months. So he can take his time. He's earned that position, and we'll see what happens in 2026. Jaime Munguia in the clear for testing positive to whatever performance enhancing, is it a drug, whatever he had. Sorry guys, I'm walking up a hill by the way here, pretty steep hill. At least I'm walking a little bit faster. Normally we've got Neil. Obviously I take my time because he has to sniff every tree and leave a little mark on every little bit of tree or every little bit of grass that he sees. I'm in a little bit more of a hurry today, so sorry if you can hear my heavy breathing. But yeah, Jaime Munguia, apparently whatever he took was more so, what did they say? It was on the list, but what did they say? I think it was more so, it was whatever he took or whatever was in his system or whatever it was, because both his tests were positive, by the way, the A and B sample. But apparently it wasn't performance enhancing or something like that. Anyway, there was a couple of technicalities in there. Long story short, he's still able to fight. It looks like he might fight on the November card also in Riyadh. So it's going to be a ripper card. I think they did say there was a spot on that card because what fight pulled out? Oh, Subriel Matias and Dalton Smith. The purse bid was won by, is it Fresh Promotions, I think they're called. So that fight will not be on that card. I think they outbid Matchroom by a couple of $1 million. So that fight, or a couple of 100,000 actually might have been. So that fight will be somewhere else. So that's what's happening with that card. But yeah, Jaime Munguia would be a good addition to that. I don't mind him. I don't mind Jaime Munguia. I think he's capable. I know he had that upset loss last year. But I think he's still got a lot to offer the super middleweight division. All right, so what else have we got there? Now, I did see this morning too, the Ring magazine have done a top 25 of the best, or the top 25 boxers of this century. So it's 25 years old, the century, so it probably makes sense to do something like that. I've just only had a quick look at it. So what I'm going to do is actually read the names out, but I might come back in the next sort of day or two with my list, I think, of who I think are the top 25 boxers of this century. And this, as always, I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion. The number 3 one here made me raise my eyebrows a bit, but I'll go through them anyway and tell me what you think. Let's go right down to the bottom and I'll work my way up. All right, number 25. Again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with this. I'll just reel them off and then maybe a couple of quick comments. And as I said, I might do my own list with some reasons why over the next couple of days. So number 25, Timothy Bradley. Now this guy definitely creates a bit of controversy, doesn't he? A lot of people love or hate Timothy Bradley. But the facts are that he was a very, very good fighter, very, very good champion. But he's coming at number 25. Number 24 is Winky Wright at 24. Okay, I'm going to have to look on this article too, by the way, if you want to read it. It gives all their key accomplishments. So I'm going to have a good read of all these comments there over the next sort of day or two, and so I can come back with a more educated or informed opinion. But just these are just straight off the bat, these ones. So 24, Ronald Winky Wright. All right, so it looks like females are involved as well. Number 23 is Clarissa Shields. Number 23, definitely done, excuse me, a lot for women's boxing. Arguably the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world. I'd still have Katie Taylor, but anyway, what else have we got there? Number 22, Vladimir Klitschko. Of course, the former heavyweight champion. So, yep, not a bad pick there. What else have we got? Number 21, there she is, Katie Taylor. Thought she might have been a little bit higher, to be honest. But yep, number 21, Katie Taylor. Number 20, Marco Antonio Barrera. And I suppose when you think back, yeah, 2000 onwards, there's been a lot of great fighters during that period, but a lot of them aren't with us as far as competing anymore. So I wouldn't have thought of Barrera, but yep, he's in there. What else have we got? 19, Vitaly Klitschko. Yep, just above his brother. Number 18, Miguel Cotto. Yeah, might have thought he might have been a little bit higher. Number 17, Tyson Fury. Again, thought he might have been a little bit higher. 16, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. What a fighter he was over the journey. Continues to fight too. Number 15, ooh, this is a little bit controversial, Oscar De La Hoya. Definitely thought he would have been a little bit higher than number 15. I haven't really had a look over this list, by the way. I just saw it and went, oh, well, that gives me something to talk about on my walk. So I'm sort of seeing this live. So 15, Oscar De La Hoya. As I said, I thought he might be a little bit higher. Number 14, Vasily Lomachenko. Geez, it goes to show how many great fighters we've had when you've got De La Hoya at 15 and Lomachenko at 14. What else we got here? Number 13, Eric Morales. Yes, Eric Morales above De La Hoya and Lomachenko. Okay, yep, I'm sure there'll be people out there that say, yep, that's fine. Hang on, I'll get through the bushes here. Where are we? Number 12, Joe Calzaghe. Yes, a very underrated fighter was Joe Calzaghe. Well, was he underrated? I think just underappreciated is probably more the word. All right, we're getting to the nitty gritty here. Number 11, Gennady Golovkin, Triple G. Pretty hard to argue about Triple G or being any higher or lower. Number 10, Naoya Inoue. Yep, great fighter Naoya Inoue has been so far. Number 9, Roy Jones Jr. Number 8, Juan Manuel Marquez. That's a surprising one too. Number 7, Terence Crawford. Hard to argue with that. Number 6, Andre Ward. Number 5, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Number 4, Alexander Usyk. Number 3, this is the one that surprised me, but probably won't surprise a lot of you out there. Bernard Hopkins at number 3 of the best fighters of the last century, quarter century, I should say. Number 2 is Manny Pacquiao, and of course number 1, which is pretty obvious, which is Floyd Mayweather. All right, what do we got here? Just had a message sent to me from Eminem. Thanks, Eminem. Just as I'm walking and talking here. This is something to finish off with. I'll get back to the list in a second there, but what's it say here? Confirmed World Boxing Championships live. KO Sports and Main Event will broadcast the World Boxing Championships live today. Where is it? Does it say? So it says Callum Peters is one of 12 Aussies fighting for gold, with the action beginning tomorrow night and the finals from Friday, the 12th of September. Okay, we'll check that out. KO and Main Event, the World Championships, the World Amateur Championships, that is. So there you go. Thanks for sending that through, Eminem. Really appreciate that, mate. So, yeah, check that out if you can. All right, so I'm sure we'll all get a chance to see that. So, yeah, look, just judging on that, as I said, I'll go over a little bit more in detail in a day or so, but I would have thought that as great as Bernard Hopkins has been, would I have him above the likes of even Usyk, I suppose, Canelo, Andre Ward, Terence Crawford, even Roy Jones? Probably not, but I might have to go back and have another good look at his resume, I think. Juan Manuel Marquez at number 8 probably just raises my eyebrow just a little bit. Great champion, of course, but is it a bit early for Naoya Inoue to be number 10? Not sure. Triple G, number 11, above Calzaghe. Morales above the likes of Lomachenko and De La Hoya. There's a few in there, but I'm going to give my list another day or so, so I can have a really good think about it and go over some resumes. But it just goes to show the last 25 years how good it's been when we've got so many fighters like that on the list. So I'm sure everyone will give me your top 10 if you're going to do it, by the way. The top 10 best fighters of the last 25 years. I mean, that's the main focus. I'll do the 25, but if you want to give me your top 10, go right ahead. Or if you want to give me 25, go right ahead as well. I'll have a look at it. But as always, an entertaining exercise anyway. So guys, that's going to do it for today. I'm just walking back into my gate now. I've got to jump in the car and head off. But as always, give me your thoughts, opinions, remarks, whatever it might be. And have a great Thursday. We'll catch you tomorrow.